Hey guys, welcome to the Ninja Turtle TMNT Party Wagon podcast. This is episode 34. Unfortunately, Gary's not here, but we got two other cool dudes with us. I'll let Cody introduce himself. So, Cody, let's start this podcast.
Hey, I'm Cody T, as the group members will know me by, maybe super sick of me. I also go by Too Much New Toys on my social media, doing all my wonky videos. Happy to be here. And then is he below me?
Yeah, I think he is.
But I'm really above you. I'm Mike Templeton from the group as well. But the reason why we are here is Cody and I also co-host the Ninja Turtle Power Hour podcast. And we've been fans of the Party Wagon podcast for a while. So really happy that it just kind of fell into place that we could both be on today. Because we're not doing our show tonight.
Yeah. The Party Wagon group is where I steal all my turtle news from. So I couldn't do any of my account things without it. It's the greatest collection of info.
I think, Cody and I do spend a lot of disproportionate time in the Party Wagon group on Facebook.
Well, we appreciate you guys being here. A lot of people do steal information from us, but hey, we love that. So appreciate you guys being here and being in the group. So thank you.
Well, I guess the bright side is that some people aren't around anymore to do that. So it's fine.
Right. I think I know where you're getting at over there. But,
I'm not naming names. Not naming names. It's fine.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. Right. So, anyway, sorry, chuckling over here, but yeah,
that's fine.
All right, so let's get to it, guys. Where do you think TMNT or collecting is going at now? Do you think it's slowing down? Do you think there's too much going on? Do you think a lot of people have their licensing or the Ninja Turtle license? What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, Cody, you want to go first? Because I know you always have a lot of opinions on this in our group chat.
I think it's the best time to be like a turtle fan ever, right? And then like you could see like my collection's just exploded ever since I got back into collecting. And I think, it's very common. Most folks got heavily back into collecting the past couple of years. And so it does at times feel like, man, there's just like too much stuff, like an embarrassment of riches. So, but I think it's awesome. I don't think too many people have the license. As far as I'm concerned, like give it to everyone as long as they make something cool and then you just choose to buy it or not. Lucky for me, most lines I don't try to be like a completionist. So
okay. Are there
it does suck to feel like you're missing out though.
Any lines you do try to complete though? Sorry, Mike.
Oh, good.
The Ronin line though, not like literally complete, but like if there's a version of a character I want to have it, but if they do like I didn't get the Sinja 2-pack yet.
Okay.
I'm also all in on the Heat Boys turtle line.
Yeah,
I'll buy literally everything.
An amazing line, not cheap, but they're built very well.
Yeah, it's one of the only like wildly expensive purchases I've got that it's like I don't regret it at all. You're just like, oh yeah, this was totally worth it.
Yeah, so far I think the Leo and Mikey came out, and then also the Transformer Leo.
Yeah, mine is like on the water. I should have it within like a week, maybe 2 weeks.
Very cool.
So stoked.
Very cool. So Mike, what do you feel? Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're
so
fine.
I mean, to build off of what Cody said, like there's so many options for everyone now that like my collection is I used to do just the definitive versions of the turtles for like a particular era. So I had like my 87 figures, I had my 2003 like the 4 turtles, I had the original like 2008 NECA Mirage turtles, and just kind of in a row. And then as in the last 10 years, as Nickelodeon's kind of allowed the license to go out more, and we have the Super 7, we have the Reveltech 2012 turtles, we have the Figuarts Toon turtles, that stuff has grown my collection. So I've expanded in that sense, but I still don't feel the need to collect everything, because I've never been like, I have to have the whole line. Like I'm lucky enough in that I can pick and choose what I want. I think the only line right now that I do have everything in it is the Best Action IDW line.
Yeah.
And I think that's mostly because I do want to support Nick, like seeing that the IDW comic has value in more marketing. You know, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I want IDW figures, so they're giving them to me. I might as well purchase them. But as far as like NECA's given us so many options that like it does feel like it's too much if you're a completionist. So it's like, thankfully, again, I don't buy every Toon 2-pack. For the Mirage figures, I have skipped the classic colors because I've been collecting the Color Classics versions. I just sold my Loot Crate Shredder because Gary was suggesting I do that. I don't need all of them. I just need the characters I want. And I get where a lot of collectors do feel that compulsion to have every character. Because it's like, it is kind of a cool status symbol to be a collector who has the whole line. But also at the same time, like, beyond us in the toy groups, who cares?
Right. I definitely see where you're coming from. To be honest, I used to be like, oh, wow, I want to have every single NECA item ever produced from Ninja Turtles. And I used to do doubles from in box. My OCD pretty much took over my saying, oh, I'm not going to get this. But then I got doubles of it.
I totally get the doubles, by the way. It's nice to have like both.
I only do doubles if it's like army builders. And then if that's the case, I try to limit it to 3. So it's like the foot bots from the Ronin line. I got 3 of those. I may get a 4th because they're just so good.
I mean, I get the army building thing because that's what they're for, right?
Yeah, but I've never been an on-card guy. Like the only figures I still have carded are my the San Diego Best Action figures, and that's because they're signed by Santaluco. So like I have those above my computer here. But other than that, everything else I open. Like I don't need the box.
That's
the problem
awesome.
The problem is when I pick up something with the box and then I look up how much it resells for, and then I'm like, oh, exactly. I don't know, because that's what happened with that Loot Crate Shredder I just sold. I was like, because a friend of mine gave it to me, so I didn't even buy the Loot Crate. He was just like, here, like you can have it, because I know you like turtles, and he collected Loot Crate at the time. And so I was like, okay, cool. And I was hanging on to it. And then I was going to open it because I started buying like 4 of the blue foot soldiers from the Mirage line. And I was like, oh, I should have a shredder to go with it. And then I looked up the resale value and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But also, I really hate that figure because I hate that it's the same body that NECA has been using since like 2009.
Yeah, that's their worst body style.
It's their worst body.
Right. But like you said, you looked up the price and it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And so I was like, you know what? Like, I'd rather this not collect dust in my garage anymore and have somebody else who will like it use it for their collection.
Right. That makes sense. See, for me, back in 2002, I went on eBay and I collected. I purchased like 30 or 40 vintage Playmates. I didn't open them, stored them away. I knew I had them, and I didn't think anything of it. And of course, during COVID, I was like, "Oh, wait, I have these cards, these figures, Playmates. I wonder how much they're worth." And so, to my surprise, it was like 10, 20 times as much as I
was gonna ask, how much did you like? What were the prices back?
Well, on average, I paid $10 to $15. I just looked this up the other day per card, and I made sure I got the soft heads.
And those were like mint on card.
Yeah, exactly.
Dang.
And I couldn't. I got at the time a brand new 1987 Party Wagon, sealed, brand new in box for $75.
Dang.
$75. And, I saw the prices and I had to sell it. I had to sell them. And needless to say, I I couldn't have spent more, like I said, more than $500-600 tops. And I probably sold the vintage collection for $4,000.
That's a nice haul. I
Yeah.
mean, the market, like, I don't think we'll ever have as good a time for a market as it's
Yeah.
been. Like, I think we're in a bubble and it's gonna like tank eventually.
Yeah. Like I've been thinking like, if I die, what's my wife going to do with my collection? And I'm like, honestly, most of it
Burn
she
it.
could just give away. Yeah, burn it.
Yeah, right.
Like
I
there's
told my wife to contact Gary and say, help me
yeah.
with all this stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, do I put Cody in my will to help my wife figure out this stuff?
See, that's my thing though. It's like, and not to be morbid, if you die tomorrow, perfect. There's some value there. I think this era of collecting dies with us. Like once our group, our generation, however you want to define that, is out of collecting, I feel like it's never going to be that strong again.
Absolutely. I think
because there's still, the kids still love toys, but it's not anything remotely like us.
Yeah, it's like for the most part, like we're a bunch of adults who just never grew out of collecting. I forgot who said that. I was watching someone on YouTube who said that. It's just we're just a bunch of adults who never grew out of collecting. So that's why like action figures, like Dan Larson over at Toy Galaxy, he just posted that adults finally took over like kids as the biggest toy spenders nowadays.
Yeah.
Which, like, good, those babies had it coming, so I'm glad we beat them.
Well, and I also think, like, who else has like disposable income at this point?
Exactly. Like, where are those babies getting money to buy their figures,
right. Completely agree. And I guess we're the perfect definition of always be a Toys R Us kid.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there isn't even a Toys R Us kid or Toys R Us for kids to be anymore.
Right.
Like, I remember...
Right. We're all moving to Canada.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I remember I used to, when I'd moved back with my parents during the 2008 recession, and there was a Toys R Us like by them, and I was like, oh, because this was their new house. And I was like, oh hell yeah! So I was hanging out there a lot. It was cool. I got to know the manager. I took them like pizza on a Black Friday. I miss Toys R Us, man.
Oh yeah, of course.
It was cool.
I mean, I miss going to Toys R Us before it closed. I love going in there. Now
it's just like
I walk down the aisles of Target and I see girls' toys mostly now.
Yeah, like it's like boys' toys. I mean, toys aren't gendered, but like going down the toy aisle is like it's depressing, and especially like I'm in Southern California, so there's a lot of other toy collectors here. I don't know if you've ever heard of Frankensons, which is like a large indoor swap meet. Like almost, I mean, see, you guys are in other states and you've heard of this place. It's that
like
big.
If eBay was in real life.
Yeah, basically. And because I live so close to it, a lot of stuff, a lot of hot figures end up there. So like right now in the Marvel Legends community, like a Amazon exclusive 5-pack got clearanced out to Ross. And it was like $150, and now it's down to like 25, as low as $5 in some stores. And it's like all of them are getting swiped up. And then I'm going to go to Frank's this weekend, and I'm going to see them all there, jacked back up to that price.
Yeah, that's the worst part of collecting. Like, I don't mind, because if you can get something for $10 and sell it for 70, like, why wouldn't you? Right? Like,
yeah,
everybody needs money. But it's
like,
annoying.
I'm guilty of that, but
it's annoying that you can't just like casually collect. Like, you have to turn into like a psychopath, and like you're hunting Target, you're like badgering them to get it out of the back room. You can't just like casually, you can't just be like, maybe I'll wait to get that, because you never know if a figure is going to come out and you'll have like years to get it, or you had that one chance to get it and you never see it again. That's what sucks. Like, as much as I say like you don't have to collect everything, always in the back of your mind, you're like, do I want this? If I want it more than 50%, I should probably get it now. Because
I have a philosophy of buy it now or buy it never. So it's like I have to really want it at the start. And if I didn't get it then during that period and it sold out, then all right, cool. We gotta cut our losses. It probably wasn't in the cards. There are exceptions. I do circle back on figures that I'm like, okay, I didn't pre-order that, but you know what, let me go pick that up. It's relatively cheap on the aftermarket.
Right. Well,
but for the most part, if I can at least get it for retail, I'm happy.
Yeah, but if you don't get it at the store, it's going to be hard to find it for retail in the groups.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the Mezco figures, for example. I was one of the ones like championing that like way back in the day. Like telling people like, hey, like this is a buy it now or buy it never figure. Like, you're not going to get this cheaper than retail. And you had everybody like, oh, $400 for a figure, and it's like, yeah, one, that's the cost of collecting. Two, this is a designer company. Like, they don't cheap out on their figures. You can not like the designs, but they're not bad figures, and it's part of the prestige-ness of this company. And so it's like you try telling people you give them as much agency to make their choice as they can, and people ultimately decided, like they weren't going to get it, and now it's out, and now it's doubled in price in some cases. It's $600-$700.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, I see people posting, and I approve these posts almost every single day, saying, "Hey, does anybody have the Mezcos for cheap or retail?" And
I love that. I was just about to bring that up. Those are my favorite posts ever.
I'm like I'm not exaggerating. Between the two groups, probably 5 to 10 a day for the last month. I've been approving those posts. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, and that's the thing, is like you have to kind of filter out, like you as an admin, like you kind of have to filter out who is genuinely trying to find the figure and who's just trying to find it so that they can resell it too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, I do that all the time. I mean, for the known members, for an example like you or Cody, if you guys were to post that, I would say, yeah, they're actually looking to buy it, not to resell it. But then you got somebody that just joined a group last week. Yeah, more than likely they're going to try to resell it.
Yeah. And that's the game like you have to play, and that is what sucks in our community, especially like the toy collectors, is that there is money to be made off of fans. And
it's funny because it's like it's a snake eating its own tail, though.
It is,
like,
yeah.
You're in the group hoping to sell to the group, get a good deal from the group. It's just like,
and it's
I wonder like how many times people get a figure and like how many group members like it went through.
Yeah, right. Like it would be interesting to see like the chain of ownership.
Yeah.
See how many times like a figure got resold in the group. I haven't really sold anything in the groups. I've bought things, not in our group, because usually like with turtle stuff I'm able to get it like firsthand, and it's like I'm rarely seeking secondhand turtle stuff unless it's something like I really, really need. But like Marvel Legends is one that like I fell out of Marvel Legends and then I'm back into it. So now I'm kind of going back and getting certain characters and costumes that I want. And so those ones I've bought off of Facebook. And generally those are fine. But yeah, like the Turtles group's like, man.
Yeah.
They're fun. Steven, I am curious, are you still on like the buying doubles train? And because aren't for some things you buy 3 because you have like
for my office at work.
Yeah.
Yes and no. So I actually decided to sell all my doubles. I've been doing that this last week. Just because it's just been too much.
It all adds up too. I
for sure.
My limit of like stuff,
and
where it's like, okay.
I have to bring this up that I can honestly say, and other people agree, that it seems like selling is a lot harder than you would think in the groups, because everybody wants below retail, right?
Yeah, because people like they don't discount like shipping, or they don't count shipping, obviously, because they're like, oh, because they're so used to like a company like Amazon or whoever, where because you're always paying shipping. It's just whether they eat it or not. Like if you're getting free shipping, that just means like they're paying their employees less or whatever they got to do
Right.
to make that free shipping happen. Like there's a cost. So it's like the Mondo turtles, like the Mondo vinyls. Have y'all seen where it's like, oh, they're shipping so expensive?
Yeah, 20 bucks a figure almost.
Yeah, and it's
You
like
know?
probably it is. Could they get a better deal? Probably. I don't know. But it's also like I mailed a figure to a friend and I just did like the flat rate box and they were like $17. And I know there's like pirate ship and whatnot,
Yeah.
but it's like shipping has a cost. So it's
I
like,
just started using Shippo because I did a custom for somebody in I don't know if you know Praeternia on Twitter. Like we have a pop in Discord, and I did a custom just a articulation mod, and he shipped it to me using Shippo, and I was like, oh, I'll do it going back to him, and yeah, it was like a $17 flat rate was like $7, and I was like, oh hell yeah, this is the wave of the future. I don't understand how it's that
I would
low.
assume because it goes to the post office ultimately, right?
Yeah, it's shipping USPS.
I would assume that the post office is just desperate to get any business they can, so they just and obviously
Which is why
they can eat it more.
Which is why
and
like
they're probably
I don't
not
mind.
going to let like Mondo eat it because
Yeah,
they're not going to eat
like,
it for Mondo because they're like
I was gonna say
"Nah."
like, which is why I don't mind. Like, I didn't mind paying directly to the USPS. Like, yeah, I'm there so often for my real job that it's like I got to know some of the tellers there, so I was like, oh, like I'm supporting you.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shippo was nice.
Yeah, I never heard of Shippo. I gotta check it out. I use Pirate Ship, and I actually just shipped out 3 packages yesterday.
Mm.
And one package was $20 I shipped, and the other 2 were like 13 and 6. So
Yeah, like I always consider shipping. It's just like not real because it's like, could you ask somebody to get like a better rate? I guess, but like it is what it is. It's
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like it's like if I were to sell something like, oh, like it's $25 plus $10 shipping, and they're like, can you do free shipping? Okay, it'll be $35 then.
Right. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
right. I'll
I
just
agree.
like bake in the cost. And really, I don't
Yeah.
like if they want to make a profit on something, like I don't necessarily mind that either within reason.
I
If they're
don't
like,
like
oh,
making.
$5-10 for me is going to be pure profit. It's like, like whatever. Like if you're doing like double, triple, and you're like totally hosing me, sure. But if someone
Yeah.
wants to make a few bucks, I'm just like
Like when
convenience,
I've sold
I
a
guess.
figure, I'll usually round up to the nearest like 5 at the most. So if it's like a $33, I'll be like, hey, just pay me 35.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's just I personally think it's a crazy time in collecting and selling TMNT right now. For me personally.
It is crazy. It's like the amount, like when we're getting it into what is it? Summer Geek Out?
Yep.
It's like, man, like Holothon was a month ago or whatever. And it's like,
Yeah.
I get it. Like they're just trying to get stuff out and make money. It's like I don't blame them, but it's also like, good God.
Right. No, exactly.
And that's another thing too, is it's like as somebody who collects multiple lines, you got to take into consideration too. Like this is just NECA dropping stuff for Summer Geek Out. It's like this doesn't take into account, San Diego Comic-Con is next month. So it's like I'm not just expecting NECA stuff there, but I'm also expecting Marvel Legends and other figure lines that I do collect. And then, Cody and I collect import figures too. So it's like those hit at random times. I just ordered something through Good Smile, and that processed. I didn't even realize it processed like a couple days ago.
Wow. See,
is Good Smile Bandai at the end?
No, Good Smile is a different company. So Bandai does Figure Arts, Good Smile does Figma.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Sorry, what were you saying,
See, I don't know
Steven?
how you. Sorry.
No, go on. You were saying something.
I don't know how you guys collect more than one line.
You want to know my horrible secret financially? Sure. Paying for
baby,
out the wazoo. Like,
but at the end of the day, you're still spending the money.
No, yeah, you are.
You are, but it's like spread out, and so it's precarious as hell, deeply unwise Nobody be
Yeah,
me.
don't
like,
recommend
you
it
make
if
toy
you.
videos. You make toy videos, and people are like, "How do you afford all this stuff?" And it's like, I don't. I'm
You also
wildly
write it. You also
irresponsible.
write it off on your taxes.
Yeah,
Can you?
I need to.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
If you're, that's a little professional secret. If you are buying toys for the purpose of reviewing, and you know, in Cody's case, you make videos for YouTube, you can write those off. Like I wrote off my podcasting equipment years ago.
I
Interesting.
feel like I'm too dumb to do that right and not bone myself over. And I feel like
You do need it.
I feel like I'd have to keep way more track of things, and I'm too lazy
Yeah,
for that.
you would have to keep all your receipts, and I would highly suggest talking to a like a professional accountant. But I mean, pretty much all of the popular toy people on YouTube, they write off their toys. I knew a guy who he was like an old school Disney YouTuber, and he wrote off his annual pass. He wrote off pretty much anything he did in the park, eating, all of that. He wrote off on his taxes for years. Took him 10 years to be successful finally.
Maybe once I get to like I don't know what the threshold would be, but once I get to like a real, like I'm making real money threshold.
Hey, I don't know.
So is that's the secret? However, are you?
That's the secret.
That's the secret.
So it's not that like it's a secret that like nobody will tell you. It's just it's a professional thing. Like you're buying toys for that purpose. You might as well write them off.
God, taxes are such like a nonsense system. Like
I'm always afraid to get an audit, even though I'm always 100% honest about it.
Same. That's where it's like I feel like I can barely function in regular life. If I'm doing some complicated taxes, like I don't know.
Yeah. Like I said, consult a professional accountant. I just play one during the day. So
okay. Yeah. Good to know. All right, guys. So do you think NECA's producing too many Ninja Turtle figures right now?
If you're talking about producing the Ninja Turtles, no, I think they need to get them back out in stores more often. If you're talking about all the ancillary characters, then yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But I think it's a problem of there's two. I think it feels overwhelming. Kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier. It feels so overwhelming, specifically for NECA, because all of these collectors overlap. And so it's like if you're buying the Toon Turtles, you're most likely gonna buy the movie sets, and if you're buying both of those, you're most likely going to be interested in Ronin and Mirage. And if you're interested in Mirage and Ronin, then you're going to get the Archie line. Like it's, to use Cody's example, it's a snake eating its own tail. Like all of these collectors overlap. Whereas like your Turtles fans aren't necessarily going to buy Predator figures. So it doesn't feel overwhelming if I'm collecting both of those lines. But if it's a Turtles line, you feel that you have to kind of collect all of them. And because they all drop roughly around the same time in different places, it adds to the stress. Because it's like, okay, do I have to worry about collecting this at Walmart? Do I have to worry about buying this at Target? Can I buy this on Target online?
Walmart exclusives are just the worst.
Oh, it's the worst.
I mean, thankfully,
like, it's great. Like I shop at Walmart, so it's awesome if you're just doing your groceries and you're like, yeah, they have it. But like outside of that, like if you need to find something, good luck. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of what you said, Cody, a little bit ago. I have never found a Target or Walmart a NECA item on the shelf in the collector spot. I've always had to ask an employee.
Yeah,
to get in the back.
I hate it.
It's the worst. Luckily I made friends with a couple of Target employees, and they're cool with me now. But it's just like if I didn't make those friends, I would not be able to collect anything, because every time I walk in, I never see anything anywhere around me.
Yeah, and then when everyone has to do that, so if like in your area, all it takes is like 2 or 3 people doing that too, they get a shipment of 2, and it's like,
right,
you never have a chance to like see it on the shelf and be like, oh, this is cool, maybe I'll get it. Like there's no
especially
no
with
impulsiveness.
sketch turtles. With those first sketch turtles, there were only one set per store.
Yeah.
You know, if
Which
you
I
didn't
get,
ask
like
them,
logistics is super hard because and Playmates, like you can see how like they went way overboard on Mutant Mayhem, and now they're just like
everywhere.
they're gonna have to start like burying them in landfills or something. And so it's like I get why they want to avoid that, but it's like I don't know. That's what I love when a company just does an online open pre-order. They're like, look, it's up for order. If you want it, you have a month. Maybe we'll ship it to you 4 years later, but it's like fine. Like I don't care.
But
Like
that's the problem with that model right there. It's like, you talk about Super 7 because that's their model. It's like, how long ago was the Robot Rocksteady or Robot Bebop like
Been a
revealed?
while.
It's been
Yeah.
exactly. It's been over a year since those pre-orders. That was part of the reason why I dropped out, is just because like I like the first 4 waves so much, and I mean it was roughly a year between releases, and we didn't have very many other like lines to collect from NECA even. So it was like, okay, cool. Like I'll get these. I was really into them. And then once things started changing around wave 5, when the prices went up, and then it's like, okay, I don't really want to pay that much for a figure and wait a year and a half. And then now things are slowing down even more for those figures.
Well, we say that, but if we're talking about like, is NECA putting out stuff too fast or too much? What's the sweet spot then?
Well, yeah, exactly.
What's
like,
the ideal release order or timing?
I mean,
I want to hear from both.
In an ideal world, I wouldn't mind a 4 to 5 month between I pre-order and it comes out.
Okay, and
which
so it's like
NECA is a little bit over in some cases. Like NECA can take 8 months to a year.
Yeah.
So I
like
think
how often should a figure? Let's ignore like the pre-order time, but like how often should a figure ship?
Between
like
pre-order and
like let's just say like a new turtle or a new figure comes out every month, every 2 months. Like what cadence would be like ideal? If they're releasing
if we're just talking about one company, I think NECA, I mean, it 2 to 3 months between waves would be ideal.
Steven?
That's a tough question for me. My OCD says once a month.
It is tough because it's like I want a new toy every day, every week. Let's go, keep them coming.
Yeah, exactly. But my wallet says every 6 months or every quarter.
Yeah, right.
But the thing is with NECA, like look at Holothon. Last year's Holothon, you spent $1,000. This year's Holothon, what was it? 700. It's you don't spend the money each month, but you're gonna do it eventually.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I really think it should be at least once a month.
Once a month.
Yeah. Then those Pizza Club turtles, I think they should have, they should have stock on those regularly. Because then, like, new collectors won't be able to easily get the brothers. But if they have stock on them, oh, hey, look, I'm going to start collecting because I can get these Ninja Turtles easily. Oh, what are these?
Yeah, it's like, true.
Honestly, when I started collecting again 2 years ago, I had no idea what NECA was or who they were. But then one day I was bored just, searching through Facebook, and I was like, what the hell is this? And then I fell in love, and here I am. But, I didn't even know what a collector spot was at Target.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think a lot of collectors in the fandom still even know what the collector spot is.
Yeah, like even before this, like I've never thought of it, but yeah, I don't think I ever, because I would always go through like, not always, I would go through like the main toy section just for fun, because there was a period I didn't really get back heavy into collecting until like 2021 or so. So before that, I would still go through the toy aisles. But yeah, I don't recall ever looking at like a collector spot in Target.
I never did either. So I always like when I saw these, I was like, crap, I've been missing out.
I remember like the collector spot for me was always like the Predator figures. Like I realized that spot was different. It was a while it wasn't until I started getting involved in the groups when I was like, oh, that like this is vendor stock. This is like I started learning those terms. But like the collector spot was always like, oh, this is where the Predator figures are. Oh, this is where the Pops are. Like, and that's what it was for a while. Then Bandai started moving in, and now some McFarlane end up there, but also other McFarlane end up back in the regular aisle. So like it wasn't until the groups where I started learning that. But yeah, it's hard going back to like the cadence thing. It's really hard to say because it's like, again, like I don't collect just turtles. So that's why to me, 2 to 3 months is fine because it's like, okay, I'm going to buy a turtle in January. March, I'll buy Marvel Legends. February, I'll buy an import figure. And then circle back April. Oh, it's a new turtle.
Yeah.
That's why I don't mind a year. I don't mind a year or longer. Like with like Super 7 pre-orders, which I want to say for the record, they did say that they were going to talk about the 2003 Turtles on June 13th.
They did.
They did not. How dare you, sirs?
They did.
How dare
not.
you? Which I'm sure there was delays, and they should just. Every toy maker should know never to give hard dates unless it's like a true date.
It's hard because like, you know, we can only glean so much from, you know, what they say. And it's
because they say, and then tomorrow if someone's like that's not going to happen, then they're just like, well,
yeah. And it's like I'm used to like marketing speak. And so it's like you never want to commit to something unless you have it in triplicate, you know, and that's how we report news. Like, you know, when we find out about a leak, you know, Cody and I are usually like, what's the source? How many people are saying it? Who's saying it? And so that's why sometimes like we won't be the first person to report something, but we'll usually be the right person who reports it. Because we want to make sure all of those facts are in play. And so, but when you talk about speculation and marketing speak, you kind of have to look at it as like they're saying things which is the truth as of now.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I was just crushed. Today could have been.
And that's to your point is like they gave a hard date.
It's the
and
worst
then went
show.
radio silent. You know. And so it is up to them to have said something. So this is a case of like where they said this was going to happen and they didn't do it, where you can now point to be like, okay, they said they were going to do it and they weren't going to do it. Whereas like, you know, people say rumors of like, oh, NECA said they're going to re-release the Party Wagon. And they're not, NECA never committed to doing that. They said they'd like to.
Well, there's a reason,
Gary, like that's like a
right,
licensing.
and there's a reason why. But like we're not. But like NECA's not giving us the information is why. Like we find out through people like Gary, about those kind of things. But NECA has never come out and said it themselves, which they can't because that would violate, you know, the trust between them and Nickelodeon. So it's left up for us to speculate it, but we have to speculate responsibly. And then not get mad when our speculation, you know, leads us down a path of like, oh, like we should blame Nick. And I was like, well, I mean, technically yes, but also officially no.
Yeah. I can see that. I agree, but it's still obviously frustrating.
Oh, absolutely. Like I didn't get my turtle van. I held out on it.
Van?
Huh?
Were you hoping to get one someday? So
I have a friend who I traded figures with. He's the one who gave me that Loot Crate shredder. And so he and I trade a lot of figures. Like I buy ones for him and he gets ones for me. Like, you know, we'll usually send each other like ones to get. He was like, hey, I'm going to order myself a turtle van. I'll just order 2.
Ooh.
Okay.
And he's like, just pay me back in figures. And I was like, cool, done. Unfortunately, I have not seen him since the van started delivering.
He faked his death.
He's really flaky. He's a good guy when you get him, but he's super flaky.
So do you think he sold your van?
No, I don't think he sold my van. But I don't even know if he ever got it, because he's like, I had it. There were 2 big boxes at my place, and I was like, okay, that's probably it, because he didn't even know that they had shipped. And I was like, oh, those are probably it. But I don't know if he actually has them, because he's like, he doesn't want me to just drop by his house, which I would never just drop by his place. But also I kind of want to just drop by his place and give him his stuff that I have, because I've been carrying it around in my car for the last like 6 months, planning on going to go see him.
Just do it.
How many figures equals a turtle van?
I mean, it's like a running tab.
That's funny.
So it's like,
That's
but it's never like a 1-to-1 thing too. Like, cause he's more interested in just like helping out a friend, which is why I appreciate him. And which is why like, I also just buy him figures that he didn't ask for. I know he's a big Masters of the Universe guy, so I've been buying him like the Mattel Creations figures. Cause he doesn't know about them. So I usually get one for me and get one for him.
It's fun. It's fun to collect with a buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Stress.
And that's what makes it so sad, is that like he disappears on me so often that it's like, are you still my buddy? Are we still friends?
He's got a new cooler collector buddy.
So like the last time I talked to him was like, I told him about the sketch turtles, and I had asked him to try and find one for me, but I found a set since then. I bought the one set at my store. So but I haven't he hasn't talked back to me since. But that's the other thing too. He's always traveling. So he's like, he was just in Vegas, you know, he went to Hawaii a couple weeks ago. So it's like it's really hard to just get a hold of him.
Yeah. Well, Hawaii, that's good for him though.
Oh yeah, he's very well off. He lives in a nice part of California.
Ah, okay, cool. Very cool. You know, Cody, it is very nice to have a collector buddy. My collector buddy now is Jay.
Jay. That's how I got my Mezco turtles. I did the JN4 plan.
Oh,
nice.
I forgot you're the guy who helped them.
What happened is, because I want to be on the record as, because I know like apparently a lot of people hated the Mezco turtles at first, even Mezco lovers. But day one, I was like, yeah, this is dope. I'll get it.
You talking about the Toon Turtles?
No, the original.
The original ones. Yeah, like we were talking about earlier. Like
for the Toon Turtles, I was as well, but for the original set, so I got it. And everyone was like, oh, Mezco, the Batman's been delayed for like 4 years. And so in the back of my mind, I was like, great, I don't have to pay for it. And then suddenly it was like, oh, it's shipping tomorrow. And I was like, oh no, like I can't do this at this current moment. And I was telling Jay, and that's when we swapped orders. So he got his, because he did from like Big Bad Toy Store. So we just like swapped and I paid him back.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. It's way nicer to have like, especially like if you have someone who also goes to stores, because like that's for me, like I hate hunting for toys now, because it's great if you go there and they have it, but like the 7 times you go there and they don't, and you're like, I can't go to Target another day this week.
Wasting gas, time. I get it.
And I know they'll get it tomorrow, but I've already gone 5 times this week, so I can't. I'm not going the 6th day. Like,
I miss at my old job, I used to take checks to the bank, and the bank was next to a Target.
Nice.
So I would always dip into the Target first, peruse the toy lot, because I knew this Target got more figures, and it's just far enough away from Frank and Sons that it's like not really in that like range of the guys. Like it's not close enough. So I knew if I got there early enough, I could get the figures I wanted. So it's like last year when Mutant Mayhem came out, I got the new Toon April, Splinter, and the Lawson Turtles, because I just asked. Like, and so now I'm sad I don't go to that Target. It's like it's I gotta have an excuse to go to that part of the town.
That is sad. It's very devastating.
Yeah. Rip. R.I.P. in peace.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Next topic or whatever. What are your guys' thoughts on the Toon Mezco? Since we kind of just talked about it a little bit, but Toon.
I don't have them. I'm living vicariously through everyone else's posts.
I
But
I just dropped Toon Raph, but
I mean, the base figures themselves are gorgeous.
I love them. I think they're fantastic.
There for mine.
Like, granted, Donnie, I don't know why. Like, I think all 3 of his heads are fun. I don't know why they gave him 3 funny heads, basically, right? Like, he has there's no serious expression.
Right.
Like, you can't give him a different emotion. It's just like varying levels of like insane, which I think is fun, but it would be nice to have like a serious Donnie.
So here's a question for you, Cody. What would you think of something like, hold on.
I think I know what you're going to pull up.
Remember this?
Yeah, those look really good. I've actually debated buying one of those.
He actually just sent me a sneak peek on a couple of these painted. So
yeah, those look fantastic because just like a different head for Donnie would be perfect because I think these figures are awesome.
Do you guys see this one?
Ooh, no, I haven't seen that one.
No, that's so those are repainted of the other ones.
Yeah, he's basically custom and painted these for the. They actually look pretty dope, if you ask me.
Those look really good. I think honestly, the Toon ones look better than the first set.
I agree and I disagree. I like the colors. Here, I gotta get up. Gary usually hates when I do this. Sorry, Gary.
That's fine. Cody, you ready to do our show tomorrow night?
What?
So, Cody, you ready to do our show tomorrow night?
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
I was just filling time while you went to go get those figures.
So I got custom. I think they should have came with all red bandanas. And this
all
is
red
Leo.
bandanas.
So the rumor is keep an eye out on Mezco for San Diego.
Well, here's a rumor. I know what's coming out, and I may or may not be wrong, but I don't think those are going to be out. There's going to be a different type of Mezco set.
Okay.
And there's
interesting
something they announced already for Ninja Turtles that's going to be only for an SDCC exclusive.
Casey? Are we talking Casey?
I'm not saying.
Not at liberty to say.
Right.
I think they'd be smart to do like a accessory pack of heads.
I think they're going to, but I don't think at SDCC.
Yeah.
But from what I heard from multiple sources, it's gonna be there's gonna be something turtle related, but not a turtle.
Interesting. Because that's my only big problem with the Mezco sets, really. Like, it does suck that the Toon set is a lesser value because you get some extra accessories like more raft throwing stuff or the pizza or whatever. But it does upset me that it's not like a 1-to-1 comparison where it's like the same level of accessories. But that's whatever. I don't necessarily blame them for like, oh, we had a hot ticket, now we can cut stuff and still make the same money.
I mean, the thing is like there's less of the Toon set than there is of the regular set too. I mean, there's only like 1,000 tunes, but they do cost the same.
And I'm sure they'll hold their value. So if I wanted to unload them, I could get it back easily and more. But the biggest thing that bugs me is, they don't make like they'll give you like a random smattering of heads, but they don't match up. Like each turtle has an angry head. Each turtle has this head. Like they just it seemed like they just did it all on a whim. And so some of them go together, but others don't. And like with the Toon one, like Donnie doesn't really fit with any of them. So I wish they would have put thought into that. Be like, here's 4 sets of heads that they can all go with some of the other turtles. Like, that's what bugs me is like you can't. Like,
which that is kind of wild that like, because Donnie is the only one with that kind of like really goofy face, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the other ones like they have like maybe an angry-ish face, and again, it's not all the same emotion, but at least they have ones that somewhat blend with each other. Donnie, they were just like, it's almost like they wanted to do character assassination on Donnie. Like, let's make all of Donnie's heads weird. So subtly people will be like, I hate Donnie.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to like slowly.
My thing is like it feels like they based it off of the style guide art more than the tune.
Oh, for sure. Because
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure,
mean, yeah.
like, I imagine when you're working, like, as much as they give, like, they'll license TMNT out to anybody, you know, it seems like if you can pay the fee, they're like, go for it. Who cares? And why not? But it does seem like there is some management between the companies and we've seen, like, you know, the rumor mill and inside blah 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 has gone nuts with like Playmates and Super 7. But to me, it's very clear that, like, I view it as like the licensor like managing squabbling children, you know? So I could see if they're like, hey, NECA's locked this down. What if you go off of this? Or you can do anything you want based on the style guide. We don't care. And like that's the field they have room to play in.
Well, I think it's that, and also like most companies don't know to ask for more than just the style guide, because it's like you get the style guide from Nick, and then it's kind of like, oh, well, this is the official look for these figures. But NECA, because of their like, proclivity to be more accurate, they're like we're gonna dig a little deeper and do these based on like the animation cells or the model sheets versus like because they knew enough to do a style guide figure pack and have that be a different skew than the normal tune figures, rather than just doing the tune figures in that style guide colors and stuff.
Yeah, I don't mind the style guide
because like Figma, Good Smile released the turtle Nendoroid figures. I don't know if Steven, I don't know if you know Nendoroids. They're kind of like articulated pop figures.
Yeah, they're like little chibi figures.
Yeah,
I think
like little
Gary has some.
And I used to collect a lot of Nendoroids. I don't anymore.
Overpriced, way overpriced. They're nuts.
I think they are now, but it depends on like the thing. Like I was all in on like the Overwatch because I still play Overwatch. But like they were pretty much the only Overwatch action figures for a while, and they were coming out at such a clip that I could build almost the whole roster. But going back to like the turtles Nendoroids are 100% based off of the style guide. It's in the face, it's in the belt buckle, like, and when you're in the turtles, like in the weeds on studying all of this stuff as much as I did, you can instantly recognize style guide.
For sure.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, personally, I don't like the style guide colors. I like their cartoon colors way better. But the style guide colors pop.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the tune ones, Steve?
I like the tune ones.
Because you got them, right?
Yeah, I got both. Here's my take on it. I love the bodies. I don't like the heads very much, to be honest. I like the OG Mezco ones. That's why I got the custom head ones. I think they look perfect now. But going back to the tune, I enjoy them. I love them. I think they go perfect with the set. Now they're also starting to ship the 5-point ones, the cheapy ones.
Did you get those?
I ordered them. I didn't get them yet.
I ordered from the last toy store.
Oh, very good. Did you use the Party Wagon discount?
Pretty sure. Yeah, I always do. So
okay,
yeah. It's honestly, it was a great deal too. So I was like,
I think they're going for $70. I can't remember.
I don't do 5 POA figures, so it's like I like them. Like I like that.
I think it's almost not even accurate to call them 5 POA because they went so far like above and beyond like what 5 POA is with like all the swappable legs and arms. Like it's still technically 5 POA, but they give you so much. Like
I think that's what's so silly about it. Yeah, like exactly that. Like they gave you so much more on top of it that it's like it's not really a 5 POA action figure.
It's like it's almost like a statue with like infinitely swappable parts. Like it's
exactly it's a customizable
the amount
statue.
The amount they packed into that set is wild. Like I don't understand how the same company that's like $400 for 4 turtles is like, what if you pay us $70 and we'll give you like 20 arms and legs plus the figures? Right. It's like how what's going on over there? Like, what do you?
But you can use the arms on any of the turtles too. Like,
Yeah,
they're
which
all
is
the
so
same
cool.
colors.
Yeah. What?
It's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be-
guess it's just like the reuse and stuff is like far
Yeah.
cheaper, but I'll still
Right.
never understand.
I guess they're looking for, trying to please the people that can't afford the $400, or maybe
Which is really cool. Like,
right.
But that's
No, I
also
agree.
it's also a very different kind of collector, because like the 5 POA kind of appeals to people who collect those reaction style, old Kenner
mhm.
I forget the DC superpowers, like those
Yeah.
kind of figures. That's who this is for. And I like it when companies can like really create super niche things like that. Like, rag on them all you want, but I think that's what Super 7 does best, is cater to very hyper specific niche collectors. And like that's the reason why the reaction line, as much as people say they don't like reaction, it sells for them.
Yeah.
I
For
like
whatever reason.
it's nice to have like a small compact figure, and they're cool to just like display, which obviously the Mezco ones won't display that way. But I do like reaction. I can't say I feel great about spending $20 on them always,
Mhm.
but when they like nail the artwork and it's like a cool figure, I think they're so neat to have.
And that's one thing like I try to explain to a lot of people too in the Party Wagon group and others, is that like the figure, we're in this age where like the figure, what you buy is so much more than just the figure inside. It's the box, it's the presentation. Like, and reaction is a very very big part of that. Whereas like you're not just paying for like the 5 POA figure on the inside with a couple crappy weapons. It's like the card art. It's like that whole thing. And that's why like reaction, like San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, that's why they're so much better, because it's that presentation. It's like, you open up the pizza box and all 4 turtles are like on their own slice. It's all of that is what makes a lot of these packages. Now, granted, on the flip side, I don't think Super 7 needs to charge $55 for a box for an Ultimate figure that I'm gonna open and never keep. Like, I think they could change that box design to a normal one, and still be a very good figure worth at least $40.
Ooh, I love Super 7 packaging though. Super 7 packaging is like an ultimate packaging. It's I get it. It's like if you've seen them in store, undisplayable, because like the store, like if you're lucky, the store like takes it out of the shipper box. They take off the sleeve.
Well,
and
they don't even
all
have the
there
shipper
so you
box
can get them
anymore.
all.
They got rid of it.
They do off and on. No,
they Super 7 said they stopped doing that because of retail partners.
Well, there's that, but also like, and I guess just because like some of the lines were in like, or some of the waves were in different states, because some have like the last wave still had them, so like, or some of them did. Like, it's kind of wonky, but yeah,
it might be moving forward then.
Well, because like some like, and I think just because their stuff got shuffled around, because like the last wave still had slip covers too, but like my glow in the dark Slash had no slip cover, so it's like I'm still waiting to see like what they ever fall in on, because I do think they probably will switch to no shipper box, no slip cover, because that's the most friendly for retail at that.
Which I like. I don't really care about shipper boxes anyway. Like unless it's an import figure.
But having them and then not having them, I feel like something is lost.
Yeah,
maybe that's just my own like OCD, where it's
because like with a shipper box with an import figure,
Amazon treats that shipper box as the actual shipping box.
Yeah,
and they will Ace Ventura that to hell. So it's like, thank God but maybe without it they would put it in a real box. I don't know.
Because like if I'm getting like an import figure from Japan, having the shipper box is kind of a nice like way of saying like, oh, this is direct, like this is a legit item,
right?
Because your bootlegs don't typically have shipper boxes, so I get that, but it's like I don't really ever have a fear of a bootleg Super 7 item, so I don't need the shipper box there.
Well, the funny thing is though, it's like, and I don't know if you mentioned it from this angle, it's not like getting rid of it they save you money. right? So like for me, it's
Yeah.
like if you're charging the same, give me all the boxes. I want every box.
No, and that's the thing. But if they're going to charge more, for the same product and not offer us more, then I'm starting to look at, okay, what can we cut to bring it back down? And the first thing in my mind would be the boxes.
But then they cut like the weapon sprues, and it's like it's death by
Yeah, because they already cut those anyway.
I like them. I never used them, but I liked them too.
Yeah,
Steven, you're a
I think it
Super
was
7 hater, right?
I hate Super 7.
see,
I can't stand Super 7.
I guess all of their troubles aside, and no matter people feel how they feel about Super 7, and Steven, I'm sure you have very valid reasons to not like them. I like their concept. I like their idea. I like their ideology. There's a lot about Super 7 I like. But I'm also critical of things that I like, which is why I like talking about Ninja Turtles from a certain angle too. Like I'm very critical. Like I can be critical about the things I love. The things I love are not perfect.
I'm a diehard Super 7 fan, but I'll say this. Like personally, I love them. They're great, but there's a reason that like I have a Super 7 affiliate link, which I'm pretty sure anybody can get. So it's like there's no special perks. They don't send me figures. I wish they did. So I think I'm like whatever Super 7 affiliate I am, I think I'm like the shittiest tier. But I do have like I could give a link, and if somebody purchases a figure from it, I'd get like a small commission. There's a reason why I never use that, because it's like I can't sell anybody on a full price figure. Like there's no I can't like like it's so
everybody waits for a discount on them anyway.
Yeah, and there's never a sale. So if I'm like, hey, Super 7 has this for $55, everyone's like, I'm gonna wait for a sale. And it's like,
yeah,
I don't see why you wouldn't. Like
and that's part of like what, going back to like one of our first questions, where like how we felt everything was kind of overwhelming and how there's too much stuff coming out. Companies have noticed that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and
I do think the toy industry is gonna contract pretty much.
Yeah, like Hasbro has already said they're gonna start cutting back on a lot of production. Super 7, like Brian said, that in an interview. No
company likes clearance. Like,
yeah, nobody does.
I feel like as collectors, we all like got into that clearance. Like, oh, I'll just wait for clearance. Like Hasbro doesn't see all their stuff go on clearance and be like, this is awesome, this is fantastic. Because I'm sure like as soon as that happens, Walmart's like, hey, your next wave, we're not paying this much for because we had to clearance it all, so give us a better deal. And Hasbro's not like, this is awesome. And there's a reason why like NECA, because I believe as their vendor system, they just take stock back, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't, like they're just, and they do whatever with it because it's
just like,
and they're smart to do it because like you never wait for NECA to go on clearance. Like
never.
And they surely could put stuff on clearance because, not everyone's going to buy like the Street Thug from last Haulathon if he's still around. But NECA's been smart to like, we're not putting it on clearance, so whatever you're gonna get, it's not that.
Right. But I mean, Target does have their sales sometimes with them. Like during Haulathon, I save at least like $300-400 with their coupons.
Yeah, when it like lines up and you can get like the 10 or 20% off.
Yeah.
Like I think Mike got the Sketch Turtles for like $10.
Yeah, I got the Sketch Turtles for $10 each. There were two Marvel Legends. It was the Ms. Marvel Warbird, which is like a very, very hot, like highly anticipated figure. The pre-order dropped during their one of their recent Marvel Legends sales. And so it's supposed to be a $25 figure. I got it for $20. I had to wake up at 6 a.m. to get it. But and then also like because that sale was going on and it was affecting pre-orders, I pre-ordered that figure and then I went back and pre-ordered the Sam Wilson Captain America figure that was Target exclusive. And I just pre-ordered that for even cheaper too, and then just canceled my original pre-order. As I love it when those kind of sales line up with pre-orders, and it's really only Target that does that.
Yeah, I feel like they've had a lot of turtle sales lately.
Yeah,
you just gotta.
But like we said, never NECA. Just the Playmate stuff.
There's a 20% off this week for Playmates at Target.
Oh, see.
So
yeah, but they've had some NECA stuff. Sometimes NECA applies. Like if you get because like
Yeah.
like I remember during like holothons, a lot of that stuff applied.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So cool. Last question for you guys. I'm gonna put two questions into one. Okay. Your predictions for Summer Geek Out at Target, and throwing this into the mix. So Jay had a good idea of taking the sunglasses off of the punk rocker turtles, and seeing them maskless. Do you think NECA should actually make a set like that, or is it? So two questions into one here.
My prediction for Geek Out, I think we're going to see that Vacation Bebop and Rocksteady that got loaded into Target's inventory. That's an easy
makes a lot
answer.
of sense.
Yeah.
That's an easy
Summer.
low odds kind of thing. Yeah, Summer. My super high stakes 1,000,000 to 1 odds is we're going to get a Hokum Hair figure finally.
Never gonna happen.
I met Trevor at WonderCon in Anaheim a couple months ago, and I asked him to his face. So
He was right about. He had like the button in his pocket that calls security, and
he was so bored.
his
And
son was
like,
dancing on that baby.
he was just like, "Who are you? How do you know me?" But that is my in the weeds 1,000,000 to 1 odds hope.
Okay. Cody?
Summer Geek Out. I can't remember last year. Did they do it the same thing where it's like every week new stuff?
Yes,
Or is it
but there was no
everything?
NECA stuff.
No NECA stuff. Well, because didn't they did like the Lawson 4-pack?
Yeah,
Or is that
so
just like
NECA
happened
did
to
their own thing
coincide with it?
that time.
Yeah, the Lawson 4-pack, I think the way they explained it was what Target had asked for it, and then had asked them, and Target put it out with the Mutant Mayhem stuff. I think that's how Blaine explained it to me when I asked him.
But see, with the Mirage stuff, they also had April 2.0.
Yeah,
And there was another box set.
Splinter.
It was Splinter, and then but there's a tune pack also, and I can't remember.
Was there a tune pack during that
There was
time?
a two pack. I know there was, and I just can't remember.
What was it? Was it
It
like
wasn't. It
Electro
wasn't
Zapper?
Bugman and Electrolyzer, was it?
No. Well, I gotta
Or was
look.
it this?
Okay.
Was it Superhero Bebop and Rocksteady?
Maybe. Hold on. Let me.
So here's my predictions: swinging for the fences. Ronan, Donnie, and Mikey.
Okay.
Wrestling Turtles. Rat King. Mirage Karai.
Okay.
I guess they could all be like SDCC stuff, and again maybe like Summer Geek Out, but
Well,
I could see us getting those.
I don't think Rat King. I don't think they'll do main characters like that for SDCC. I think that's
true. Or
I think
by
those
SDCC,
days
I
are
also mean
gone.
they just have like stuff up on their website around then.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they do like a full on Summer Geek Out, I could see that because last year a lot of Mirage stuff came out at that time too.
Well, because we have the San Diego reveals coming in like the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a thing we should predict as well.
Well, okay, we can predict for sure.
But for
Steven.
the glasses off head, I think they should do accessory packs.
I agree. They should do that for sure. But then people are going to be
Like
another
if
body.
they do like an alternate set with no glasses, it's like, come on, like I can remove the glasses myself. Like, what do you?
It's actually harder than you think. Did you see
like that's the ironic thing when you want something to come off, it like doesn't, but like when you're hoping it stays on forever, it's like, oh, I'm loose.
Yeah.
All right, I got to get up for a second. 1 second. So
what were you saying? The
turned out pretty well. However, I mean, you see that?
Yeah, those holes on the head.
Yeah, so I kind of only can
Did
face
they
him.
give him? Are his eyes like pointing in like a weird direction?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't do it
He was like
perfect.
cross-eyed, right? Like,
Yeah,
that's. I guess
so,
they didn't need to. That's funny. Like,
yeah, you know.
I think it's cool. I think like a bear turtle head. We don't get enough just bear turtle heads.
I don't think we've gotten
Oh,
any.
and they could also do like the single Lawson packs. They could do those too.
I think those are actually coming. I just don't know when.
I had gotten into a back and forth with someone. It was, I don't remember if it was in Party Wagon or if it was in one of the other groups, and so he was saying that the Mirage pack, the Lawson pack, was a Target exclusive, but Trevor said in, I think it was a Speaky Geeky video, that it wasn't a Target exclusive, and he was unsure of why it hadn't been released yet. And that was the last we had heard on that. And then NECA did the pre-order on their store. And then now we're hearing about the singles for the Lawson Turtles. So I'm curious what the timeline is here. Was NECA originally going to re-release the 4-pack in fan channel stores? Or was the plan always that was a Target exclusive technically? Because like only the exclusives from Mirage so far are variants, like Blue Renette with the Auto T stuff and the Shredder and stuff like that. Everything else from Mirage has been mainline, has been fan channel, Target, like you can get it anywhere, which has been really good. But for some reason, the Turtles never made it to Big Bad Toy Store, for example.
I wonder if stores prefer singles versus 4-packs.
That may be true. That may be a thing too. And so the 4-pack may have been exclusively a Target thing because that was part of like an event. You know?
Possibly. I didn't think of that.
And so like I understand what this guy is saying. He didn't have a source, of course. But I was just like, hey, like these are the kind of questions you need to be asking. Don't just say, hey, was this an exclusive? Ask, what's the timeline? Was it always an exclusive? Yeah. Is it an exclusive now? Because we're not doing that again.
I think it's also hard because like whenever you're asking these people, like especially because they're working with like the TMNT license, like I know like it's really easy to be like, oh, this interviewer didn't ask the tough questions. But it's even like the person you're asking, like a lot of times they're really not at liberty to say like anything.
Yeah, that too.
It's like,
that's why like I'm incredibly thankful for.
It's pointless to ask them questions because they like just like, because they either like say something and they're like, oh, I'm getting in trouble at work tomorrow.
Well, that's why like Cody, like you've heard me do it when we interview people on our show. I'll let them know, like, hey, if you accidentally say something that you shouldn't, let us know, and we'll retake it.
And that has happened.
And that has happened. And so,
get rid of that.
Yeah,
we're not even like had like super high profile stuff or like the stuff we've had. I mean, it's still like they're still working with like a huge license or whatever, but you can tell they're just like, oh yeah, not that. So I assume like if any of the employees at these companies, like hats off to them for doing like any interviews or going on anybody's shows.
Yeah,
because I'd be like,
well, my
I'm
thing
not
was
saying
like
anything about anything because y'all are gonna get me in trouble immediately.
My thing was I wanted to just know like who this guy asked, and like you need, and because a lot of the times like people are just asking like the NECA Facebook Messenger, and it's like that's customer support. You're not talking to Trevor. Right. on Facebook chat.
Yeah, they're talking to like me on my day job. I'm like, yeah, it'll probably come out. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll probably come out.
You shop at Walmart? You know? Yeah, it's coming to Walmart. Stop yelling at me. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and that is the way you have to look at that is that like, yes, that's an official channel, but it's not an official channel for news. So like usually they're the last people to know for sure on stuff. And so like you kind of have to weigh that as a lower source than a primary or secondary source.
Yeah, and we've known, like, I remember like Brian Flynn from Super 7, he was talking about like one time like working with like the TMNT license, like they have to approve everything, like social media posts,
Yeah.
like the wording they're using, like everything gets approved. So
Yeah.
I
Which
assume
is
it's like a
funny too,
nightmare.
because like there isn't a TMNT social team. Like it's run by the Nickelodeon social team.
Yeah.
So it's like
They've been
it's
doing
even
pretty good on
further
TikTok
removed.
though. They've been starting to get into that.
But they cross post those posts with Instagram.
That's what I do. That's
Well,
work
right.
smarter, not harder, baby.
But are they creating it for TikTok, or are they creating it for Instagram and just uploading it across? Like, yeah, like everybody does that now.
You do
it's
it
like,
for, you create it for a YouTube short, because YouTube shorts have the shortest time, and so if you do a YouTube short length, everyone can take it. If you
okay, that's the secret. See, Cody
That's the
is
smart
our social media guru. So he talks. He's the best one to kind of give us like plans for how things kind of work behind the scenes. Because I didn't use TikTok beyond like commenting and watching videos.
The blind lead blind, right there.
That's it too. Like, like, you know, like I'm old school. Like, oh, these engagement numbers are doing pretty well. And a friend of mine used to do social media for like a really big company, and he was the one who kind of taught me about like doing campaigns and like how a rollout should go. And just taking what he taught me, like that's not what the Turtles account does, and it drives me nuts. And then when I talked to somebody at WonderCon one year from Turtles panel, because they were reposting some of my stuff. This is like back in like 2014. And that's when they told me that there is no, I know it's a whole decade ago. That's when they told me that there is no Turtle social team. It's just the Nick offices. And my heart sank. Because I was like, I could help you help do this.
Right.
And build you a campaign. And
I don't think they need to. I'm not sure. If I was a big company at this point, I don't think I would pay for any of that. I would just be like, do you have fans? Sure, retweet their post. Done.
And that's the thing. Yeah, like
thousands.
IDW will repost some of our stuff every now and then, like when we say new comics are coming out this day. You know, and the turtle social media accounts are big enough that they can just put a picture and be like, huh, Mondays, am I right? And it's like just a picture of like Leonardo falling over, and it's like, I get it, like you can shit post like that, and that's always fun, but it's like there's certain ones that they post every year exactly on the same time. Like I made a collage one time. It was like this this leaf with like a style guide turtle face on it, and they said, they're like, huh, Leafonardo. And it's the stupidest post, but every year in October, November, they posted the same exact thing, changing the caption every so slightly, but the same exact picture. And I made a collage of all the times that they had done it.
Huh.
Isn't this the man who reuses the same? Don't you also post the same picture every year, Mike?
I've only done that twice so far, and it's my World Turtle Day photo. Because I had taken a very good picture
on this podcast to never using it again.
Sure. Next year, well, because somebody had pointed out that there are other turtle figures that I could add to it, like Slash and the Mutant Mayhem Turtles, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it was a nice picture of all the different turtle figures I have just having a picnic, you know, and I like that. It was my World Turtle Day photo.
Nice.
So what are your big predictions, Steven?
Yeah, wow, we've really
it's okay.
deviated there.
Me and Mike are the worst people to have on a podcast.
No, not at all. You guys
if you want your podcast to instantly go for 3 hours, invite me and Mike on.
I did a 3-hour podcast on the Hokum Hair episode. Just one of the Hokum Hair episodes.
You would.
This was
Steven,
the Turtle
Mike,
Recall podcast with Jason and
Mike.
Anna. I miss Jason and Anna. I miss their show. Jason's a big Turtles fan, and he was showing his wife the 87 cartoon for the first time. So she was doing all of her live reactions. And so they had me on the show to talk the Hokum Hair episode. It was like 3 hours long.
See, Steven, your predictions, go.
My prediction,
Yeah,
I think
sorry.
you guys are dead on with the Vacation Bebop and Rocksteady. I think we will see maybe a couple of Archie line stuff. You know, I think we're due for those.
Yeah, they've had to have those done for like a long time.
Exactly. I think that's really it for Target, but for SDCC, I think NECA will be releasing First Turtles by Peter and Kevin as like a 2-pack.
Sure. Yeah.
And then possibly something else, Mirage, but just a guess.
Makes
That's
sense.
my
Maybe
prediction.
some new Ronin stuff because they gotta.
I think we'll see Grammy April at the booth in Comic-Con. I think we'll see, if not just we might see all 4 of the Turtles, because Cody in his detective mode figured out that was whose hand on the Michelangelo box?
It's got to be Uno.
Yeah. And so Uno we haven't seen as anything. We haven't seen a render or anything.
Which I guess it could be like April artwork and they're just like part of it.
So maybe. Like all 4 baby turtle. I don't think all 4 baby turtles would be pack-ins with Grammy April.
Yeah, I don't think they would come with her. Though honestly, why not? Like it'd be like an interesting 5-pack where it's like
I think
April figure and then like kind of babyish turtles would be fun.
I think NECA would spread it out like their Gargoyles line, how you have to buy, a different figure to get the wings for a different figure.
They give you a dismembered turtle part until you.
Well, I just think it'll be Grammy April and 1 turtle, and then Hiroto Shredder with another baby turtle.
That would actually work out because like if you and you can see with like Mikey, like Ronin Mikey, there's what accessories do you put with him, right? You're just like, I don't know. So like they could take that route, but I feel like they'll do.
Well, we've seen Flashback Mikey. We know he doesn't come with anything additional.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, when you get, like, if you get to, like, Oroku Hiroto, it's like, you include nothing with him. But it also seems like doing a whole baby turtle seems too much, so.
Right.
But I have talked with Ben Bishop some, and he's assured that there's, like, a ton of Ronin stuff coming.
Right. Well, what did we get last year? SDCC.
As far as the reveals, I think we got the reveal of Flashback Mikey, because we had seen Leo and Raph the year before.
Oh, and technically they teased like the Ghost Turtles.
Yes, they did.
There was that Toon Last Ronin figure that they hid in the display. Like, was it 2 year or two ago?
The Dark Turtle, or the Ronin.
It was the Toon Ronin turtle,
yeah.
Right?
Which I would actually be interested in seeing. Like the Playmates Ronin turtle is one of my favorites. Because it's such a goofy little thing and I love it. So I think, I don't know, I would hope that would make a really cool SDCC exclusive. It's not mainline to anything. It's just if you're here or if you want to score it online, pick it up kind of figure. And I think that's what exclusive should be. You should never miss out on exclusive and feel like it's a hole in your collection. Which is why I like the VHS like 4-packs that they do as the exclusives, because immediately right after they drop them as 2-packs. And so you're just missing out on the VHS box, really. Maybe an extra piece or two, because like the Turtles 3 figures came with the extra scepters. But it's like
Yeah. Best turtles, the best turtles ever made. The best
But yeah,
book,
like
best
and
look,
I think that's what exclusives
movie.
should be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
It's hard with exclusives because you either make it like so cool, everybody has to get it, and if you don't get it, you're devastated, or you make it like a little cool and it's like on the verge of, do I even want this? Like, is this worth it to even get? Because it's like
I mean,
like
you
like
know,
Super Seven's Chef Mikey, and like it's like the Mikey figure and like pizza chef stuff, and it's like that's super cool. So like that's a great exclusive technically.
Yeah, because you
But it's
don't
also
that
like,
doesn't. It's a nothing figure. It's just a fun.
yeah,
yeah,
it's
but do you
also
really want
not
to spend
so
money
cool.
on it?
I mean, I do because my Super 7 Mikey broke and I needed to replace it anyway. And this Chef Mikey figure comes with the Surfer Mikey head that I wanted. So it's two birds, one stone for me. So I'm
That's a
I'm
good
in
one.
on that figure. But I remember years ago when the 2008 figures came out, and I can't remember if it was ever confirmed or it's like I remember reading it on like the Technodrome forums, which God, ooh, that takes us back.
Yes.
The rumor was that Playmates would only allow NECA to sell the turtles at conventions, which was why for years, like the original Mirage Turtles, the Shredder pack and New York Comic Con, the arcade Turtles, all the way up to the first 1990 movie Turtles were all San Diego Comic Con exclusives or New York Comic Con exclusive. Like they flipped. And you could only ever get them there. And it wasn't until 2018 when that something changed behind the scenes, and then we got the movie Turtles at GameStop. And it's like, okay, now the floodgates have opened, and now all of those special SDCC figures aren't really special anymore because now people, if you miss out on them, you can just wait and they'll eventually hit stores. So going back to Cody's point, how do you create that magic again? You know, of creating a figure that's like, I have to get it at SDCC, and it's like it's cool because only the people at SDCC can get that figure.
Here's the question: do you like when figures are exclusive like that? Like, do you personally like if you have a figure that like only like with like Bottleneck Gallery did like where that's like they do like the first turtle prototype statue or whatever, and it's like limited to like 1,000. Do you like that it's limited, or does like that mean anything to you?
If I get it, then yeah, it means something to me. If I don't care for it and I wind up not getting it, then no. Like I don't really care about the first turtles. Like I'm not a
So
statue guy.
What you're saying there is the exclusivity does matter to you. Like
Only if I
you're
want
one
it.
of the if you're one of the 1,000, you love it.
Only if I want the figure. But with the statue, that's a little bit different. Because like statues are, I consider more of like a premium piece, and so part of having a statue is the exclusivity. Of like, oh, there's only 5,000 of these made. Oh, there's only 1,000 of these made. Like same thing with comic books. Like we bought the lenticular covers from Bottleneck, and there was only, I forget how many of those were made. I bought the new printings from Kevin Eastman that he did for Portsmouth Comic Con. There's only 1,000 of those.
I got those too.
So there's certain things like that. Action figures, though, like I feel like action figures are for everybody, and so that one's a hard one because it's like when you do, if you do a character that that will leave a hole in someone's collection, that's where I think exclusives get to be a problem. And NECA's done it. Like I think the permutation of permutation of a mutation, or the human Bebop and Rocksteady pack. I think that was kind of a bad idea to have that as an SDCC exclusive.
Those have been on AliExpress for a long. They were on AliExpress.
Yeah, I mean you can get them other places, but you know not everybody uses AliExpress. Like Cody had to order something for me because my account's locked for some reason. So I can't even use it.
Mike is he's viewed as a criminal, rightly so, by AliExpress.
Yeah, like I can't go to China anymore because
he's been banned. Steven, how do you feel about exclusives?
Kind of same token as Mike. If I want the figure and I get the figure, and I got one of the 1,000, yeah, it's gonna be great. But if I decide later, if I decide later that I want it and I have to pay 5 times the price because it's an exclusive, yeah, I'm gonna be annoyed.
I think to add on to it real quick, if I get it at San Diego Comic-Con and if it wasn't available online, I think adding the online access to it is what kind of makes it not feel like a Comic-Con exclusive anymore. It just comes out during Comic-Con. Like,
True.
but like I'm at a point where, like, you know, if I buy things, like it ties my memory to that place. You know, like, oh, I bought this at Comic-Con. I was there at Comic-Con. I got it at the NECA booth. Like that. That's why, like, my Best Action Turtles that I got signed by Santa Loco, like, I got them signed by him there at Comic-Con. Oscar Cano, shout out to him for picking them up for me while I was in a booth or while I was in a panel. And then, you know, we hung out in line. It's like, so like I have memories tied to those exclusives. Whereas, like,
cool.
I got my San Diego Comic-Con Alf figure on the NECA store last year, and I love it. But also at the same time, I don't really care because it's like everybody had access to buy that. So I think that's the difference of if I have to race everybody to buy an exclusive figure, then it's not fun. Like going back to the Ms. Marvel figure,
a million made of everything. If they made a million,
like in an ideal
figure,
world,
I'd be happy. Like I'd love.
In an ideal world, everybody would be able to buy what they want.
Yeah,
but
like
unfortunately,
the rarity to it, I don't particularly enjoy.
Yeah, like I don't celebrate the rarity. It's more just like I'm one of only a few people to get this figure in this location, I think is what I look at more. But if like,
yeah, see, like that part does nothing for me. I'd rather give it all,
and that's where we differ.
Like 1 of 1 million, I'd be like, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, when I had to get the Mondo first turtle, I remember when they first were released, I'm like, this is the ugliest thing. I do not want it. But then when they came out with the Peter first turtle, I had to get the Mondo one. But luckily, I got a great deal on it. So now I have the pair. So kind of what you said. I mean, it's not really an exclusive, but now it is because they don't make it anymore.
Yeah.
But no, the deluxe turtles or Mondo was an exclusive in a way. The deluxe ones, but yeah, I mean, I paid a pretty penny for it, but it's to me well worth it now because now I have the pair and it makes me happy. So
that's a cool set. Like that's really good. I am excited for NECA's little shrunken down versions of them. Those will be fun.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, I think that's it, guys.
Yeah, we got an hour and a half of content. I think that's nice.
Yeah, for sure. And then again, I really appreciate you guys jumping on last minute. We discussed yesterday, and you guys were happily to come on, so I appreciate that.
The secret was we didn't prep for our show that we record on Thursdays, so we needed the extra day.
See, there you go. Well, thank you. Hopefully Gary will be back soon, and then Gary and I hopefully can go on your show.
We would. Yeah. No, we would love. That was the goal for this year, was to do more collabs with other content creators. We did 3, January, February, March, with 3 like great TikTok creators. And then we just dropped it. So we haven't done any more since then, because it's always like you got to find the right.
We had Jay. We had Jay on too. We had Jay.
Oh yeah, we did 4 months in a row. Oh no, because we did 2 in March. We did 2 in March. Mike. That was it.
Classic.
That's what it was. We did Michaela in January, Tori in February, and then Johnson and Jay in March. Yeah, and so
we'll have Steve and Gary. Sorry, does it bug you if I keep calling you Steve? I'm the worst with names.
No, it doesn't matter. Everyone calls me Steve. No big deal.
But yeah, I mean, it would just depend on like what you guys want to cover, because like, you know, there's always other turtle stuff to cover. So with our show, we have pieces of media that we cover throughout throughout the span of Turtles, livelihood. So right now we're in the middle of watching the 2003 cartoon and reacting to those episodes, and then also we're finishing up volume 4 of the Mirage continuity. And so as we finish that, we'll move on to, I don't know what Spencer has planned for us to do next, but it would just depend on like what you guys want to talk about when you come on.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll figure it out. It'll be great. So perfect. Oh, well, guys, again, thanks again.
No, it's been super fun.
Yeah, for sure. We'll do this again soon. So thanks everyone for joining, and we'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.
Have a great night, guys.
See everybody in the party wagon. We'll be back to. I'll be annoying you presently.
Yeah,
you never know.
People think I'm a know-it-all asshole, and that's fine.
All right, all right, guys. Talk to you guys later. Thanks again.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.